The internet exploded with a headline that felt too shocking to ignore. Anthony Hopkins kicked off Lorraine Kelly's show after fiery clash. Within hours, the phrase began circulating across YouTube thumbnails, recommendation feeds, and social media timelines, triggering curiosity, disbelief, and instant clicks. The idea alone felt cinematic. One of the most respected actors in film history, a man known for his calm intellect and legendary gravitas, suddenly at the center of an alleged daytime television meltdown. It sounded unbelievable, and that disbelief became the fuel that pushed the story into viral territory. Anthony Hopkins is not a celebrity associated with chaos. His public image has been shaped over decades of discipline, mastery, and quiet intensity. From Shakespearean theater to unforgettable performances in Silence of the Lambs, The Father, and countless prestige projects, Hopkins has long represented control, refinement, and emotional precision. So when claims surfaced suggesting he had been kicked off a friendly morning show, the contrast alone created shock value powerful enough to dominate headlines, regardless of proof. Lorraine Kelly's show, by contrast, has built its reputation on warmth, approachability, and safe daytime conversation. It is designed for relaxed interviews, personal reflections, light humor, and emotional moments that feel human rather than confrontational. The format rarely produces controversy, which made the alleged clash even more compelling. The story suggested a sudden tonal shift, a moment where professionalism cracked and something raw surfaced on live television. As the narrative spread, details began to morph. Some versions claimed Hopkins challenged the nature of celebrity interviews, criticizing surface-level questions and media packaging. Others implied creative differences, discomfort with promotional expectations, or frustration with how serious art is sometimes reduced to soundbites. Each retelling added layers of drama, even as concrete evidence remained elusive. The story evolved less like a news report and more like a cinematic myth, shaped by repetition rather than verification. This is where the modern media machine shows its true design. Algorithms reward emotional spikes, not accuracy. A headline doesn't need confirmation if it generates clicks. A thumbnail doesn't need context if it triggers curiosity. In that environment, the alleged Hopkins-Kelly clash became a perfect storm. It combined a beloved icon, an unexpected setting, and the promise of conflict, all wrapped in a few explosive words. The result was viral momentum that felt real enough to many viewers, even without verified footage or reputable reporting. What made the story resonate even more deeply was the symbolic weight people projected onto it. To some, it represented an artist pushing back against superficial media culture. To others, it was framed as generational tension, tradition versus modern television, depth versus entertainment. The lack of confirmed details allowed audiences to insert their own interpretations, turning the rumor into a mirror reflecting broader frustrations about fame, authenticity, and the way creative legends are handled in mainstream media. Yet, when examined closely, a striking absence appears. No official statements, no ITV confirmations, no verified clips from the broadcast, no reporting from major outlets. In an age where even minor celebrity slip-ups are documented within minutes, that silence becomes as loud as the headline itself. The story exists almost entirely within the echo chamber of viral content, amplified by repetition rather than substantiated by facts. That doesn't stop it from feeling real. Viral narratives don't rely on truth alone, they rely on emotional plausibility. And the idea of a revered actor bristling against the machinery of daytime television feels emotionally believable, even if it never happened. That emotional realism is often enough to convince audiences, especially when presented with cinematic language, dramatic pacing, and authoritative delivery. The alleged incident ultimately says more about the media environment than about Anthony Hopkins or Lorraine Kelly. It exposes how quickly perception can harden into belief, how storytelling can override verification, and how legends can be reshaped by a single unproven claim. In this case, the wow moment wasn't a fiery clash on a studio sofa, but the speed at which a rumor could become a narrative consumed by millions. Anthony Hopkins remains what he has always been, a master of performance, a voice of reflection, and a figure defined by decades of excellence rather than viral controversy. Lorraine Kelly's show remains a cornerstone of daytime television, built on consistency rather than chaos. The clash, fiery or otherwise, exists primarily in the space where modern media thrives, the space between curiosity and confirmation. And that is the real cinematic takeaway. Not an argument caught on camera, but a reminder of how easily stories are manufactured, amplified, and believed in the digital age. In a world where headlines move faster than facts, sometimes the most dramatic moment is the one that never actually happened, yet still manages to captivate everyone watching.